Yeah. Absolutely. Firstly, I mean, getting back to basics, and this is quite crude, generally, indicas are good for pain relief, and sativas are good for nausea. So, for example, if you are undertaking chemotherapy as a treatment, or if you have an eating disorder, you want to be looking for an organic sativa variety. So a haze or a Thai, a diesel, something like this. If you suffer from chronic pain, insomnia, then it's the indicas that are going to provide you with more relief. So something like an Afghani or a Hindu Kush. Now, when you're talking medically, it's got to be organic because there's not enough research into the chemicals that people are using. And I would never want to give someone that needs cannabis as medicine a highly chemical cannabis, because you've got to remember, when we get stoned, or high if you like, that's classed as a medical overdose. You only need a tiny amount. 0.2 of a gram is the specified dose for a cannabis patient, if you like. So not enough so that you're getting high, but enough so that it's going to the bit that needs the work. So generally it's got to be organic and in a small dose.
Okay.
So for medicine.
All right.
Yeah.
Out of actually,
but generally, basically, a pure haze is good sativa for chemotherapy, and a pure indica like Afghan or Hindu Kush for pain relief.
Okay.
Generally. Well, in 1998 they changed the law here in Holland so that instead of 5 plants per person, it was 5 plants per household. So we used to have 125 plants here.
Okay, for every employee?
Yeah.
Okay.
There used to be like nearly 30 volunteers.
Okay.
So these were my 5, they're his 5, they belong to her.
Of course. Yeah.
Brilliant! And that's how they used to get away with growing in the big greenhouses, because they said, yeah, I have a staff of 100 people, I've got 500 plants, but now it's per household.
Okay.
So that, it was in 1998 they changed the law, and you can't fight the law really. So,
Exactly.
yeah. But like we say, ironically, it doesn't matter how big they are. So I promote and suggest, if you're going to grow huge plants, because it's only on the number and not the size. So brilliant.
Great.
Well, it's ridiculous, can I just say firstly. The Cannabis College, because we have our plants downstairs and because we're not HORECA, officially we should be no smoking anyway. So the fact that I allow people to smoke pure cannabis and vaporizers is already pushing it a little bit. Now, for coffee shops, it's ridiculous. I mean, you go to a bar to drink, so you go to a coffee shop to smoke. So the fact that they are withholding people the limits of what they want to smoke is absolutely ridiculous. So how can you ensure and check what's in the joint?
Exactly.
Now that's the biggest problem. So you have a few tourists who are coming to town and they are smoking pure cannabis, which is much stronger because it's not diluted with the tobacco, if you like. Now, the plant itself is better to smoke pure cannabis because then you get the actual effect of the cannabis and it's not dampened by the effect of the tobacco. But it's all about choice and freedom of choice. And there's a lot of people that, for example, with children, they'll go to a coffee shop after work to smoke a little joint with tobacco in so they don't have to smoke in front of their kids at home. And now they can't smoke what they want to smoke, so they're being forced to smoke at home. Who is that good for? Nobody. And okay, you can smoke outside, but look at our summer weather right now, it's ridiculous. And come the winter, what's going to happen? Now, if you have a venue which is you can provide a space larger than 30 square meters for non-smokers, you will be allowed to have a smoking room, but that's a very small minority of companies. Most buildings here are very small, so it's not possible. So it's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, stupid. Well, I must say, in Holland, it's almost virtually non-existent because I think the toleration policy bred indifference, and the Dutch as a nation believed that they had it all fine, so there was no need for any activism, if you like. Now, in the last few months, the public are starting to realise that the Dutch government have chipped away at our rights gradually, one by one. And now they're starting to stand up and be heard. But it's only in the last few months. I'd say activism in the rest of the world is increasing, and quite rightly so. We need as much activism as we can. We need to stand up and be counted, if you were. I mean, by any law, if you've got a third of your population which are potentially breaking that law, then you have to readdress the law in the first place, and it shouldn't be a law.
Exactly.
So you look at America and the number of people that smoke cannabis on a regular basis, come on.
Yeah.
And most of the European countries, in Germany, it's a very high amount of people smoke cannabis. In England, in Ireland, it's amazing.
It's common too.
And possession and personal use of cannabis should not be a criminal offence at all. It should be a human right.
Absolutely.
And not a criminal offence.
Okay.
Well, I firstly have to say visit our website, cannabiscollege.com, because on there we have lots of information and lots of links to other groups in your countries that can help you. In most countries in the world there is at least one or two activism groups, so it's a case of contacting them, finding out when the next demonstration will be. You can even write to your Prime Minister or your major MPs and get them on the side. Reading and learning, and obviously come and visit us here and we can try and give you information. But the world needs more activism. It needs more people to stand up and be counted, and to not be ashamed that you use cannabis, because we're not second-class citizens. There's intelligent doctors and bank managers, and there's a lot of ministers out there, and policemen and firemen.
Exactly,
and
everyone.
they use cannabis. They're just ashamed to talk about it.
Exactly.
Now, if everyone was to stand up and be counted, then there's actually a campaign in America, in San Francisco, a Come Out of the Closet campaign, similar to the gay rights movement back in the 80s, and it's more for cannabis users now. So it's stand up and be counted, don't be ashamed, and there you go.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Please read up and learn about hemp, because with hemp we can seriously save our planet. Currently the situation out there is terrible. We've got barely no fuel left and food. People shouldn't be starving throughout the world. Hemp can provide the seeds to feed a whole village full of people. Absolutely no problem. So read up about hemp, see if you can get involved in your local activist group in your country. Go and visit the local trade shows, because there's trade shows throughout the world now. It's not just about you learning, it's about passing the message on to your friends, your family, your children. And just stay active, stay positive, and keep smoking good weed.
Right.